Welcome back, everyone. This is the Crypto Rain Channel, and I'm your host, Jay Murph, and we're going to be talking about Cardano. Holy frick. Okay, we knew it was good. All of us knew it was good. We've been watching it. Yeah, but we're all a little bit surprised at what is going on so soon. I mean, we all knew this was going to happen. So soon was what surprised us, not that this was going to happen. Now, this is Cardano versus Tether, essentially US dollars, and at 92 cents. Holy frick. You realize that this was just in March of 2020 down under 2 cents at the low. I remember that. Now, there was a huge sell-off. This is when everybody was shutting down because of coronavirus. The stock market tanked. Some hedge funds had gotten into crypto and they dumped their Bitcoin first to try to free up their books so that they wouldn't have to dump as much of their other portfolio. And so everything tanked this day, but Cardano did go under 2 cents. It was always an amazing deal, all under here, but man, I didn't make any pickups that day. I was sick because I had a long in on Bitcoin, and I totally got liquidated, and so I was sick myself. Big loss. That sucked. But I did make some pickups in here after I recovered from the loss that I made from, it was a low leverage long, and I was just longing the market because I didn't expect such a shock like that, and it was really low leverage. So unless there was a major tank, everything would have been fine. But it's crypto. So huge retracement on Bitcoin there, lost that. Totally sick to my stomach. Freed up some cash reserves to buy Bitcoin at a cheap price, but was looking at Cardano. I was like, I cannot pass that up. Because a lot of my entries I had made along the way between 12 cents and under. And just, it was one I've been accumulating for a long time, trying to get as much as possible. And it has absolutely gone parabolic. This is exactly what parabolic looks like. Now, parabolic does not continue for forever. And if you expect it to, would I be buying right now? Heck no. I do not chase green candles. Am I happy it is? Yes. Now, if I weren't so emotionally tied to Cardano, which allows me not to get the distance from it that I would need in order to successfully swing trade it, I would probably be selling some in order to hope that I could buy back more later. The challenges with Cardano is I expect it will do very, very well this year, which has me a little bit too tied to it to be able to distance myself emotionally from the outcome. I found that when I sell Cardano, I think about it all the time and what I'm potentially missing out on. And so it just, emotions are in the way, and when emotions get in the way, you absolutely get wrecked. And so I've just learned the hard way. If I can't be distant from it emotionally, don't swing trade it. Now, in general, I'm a buy and hold investor, not for the long term necessarily, but for usually a period of time. There's very little things I try to flip in a week. Most of the stuff I'm trying to buy over a period of months, and I try to buy when it's not doing well and sell it when it's absolutely doing well. So Cardano, I remember when everyone was fudding it, and even when Shelly launched, and the price was not being pumped like it should have. And a lot of the excuses I heard was, oh, it's taking so long, it's never going to happen, all the deadlines are missed, and not all the deadlines were missed. And I actually worked for a business consulting firm called Accenture in the business development side or software development side, so I understand how these things work. And it's not a simple task. And what he's accomplishing is not easy. He just took the time to plan it out really well. And all that planning time can frustrate people who want results because it doesn't seem like anything's getting done. But later, as you're putting all the pieces together, that part actually goes much faster because you have it all planned out well. So they piece together really well. And there's always bugs that you have to fix and compatibility things that you have to fix. And so they're really starting to see all of this come to fruition. And people don't have to imagine anymore. They can see the tangible results. And therefore, the price is absolutely skyrocketing. And this is exactly what parabolic looks like. Now, I think we're going to have a major parabolic run on most everything later this year. I would be surprised if that full-blown parabolic move came so soon. So I'm always looking at what to expect this year. From everything that I've learned about crypto, being an investor just in 4 years, not a huge period of time, but I was around the bull market of 2017, but I was very new at the time. Though I think I have a good memory. I like to think so, and so I did learn a lot during that market, and I look for patterns. And pattern detection is something I have always been really good at. So I try to look at what patterns might repeat themselves. What are things going to look like? And so to look for patterns, I look at what did things do last cycle as an idea of what might happen this cycle. Now, this cycle, technology and cryptocurrency has evolved so much over last time. If you were around in 2017, you realize that there was really only 1 to 2 tokens that really had their use cases in use, and Ethereum had part of its use cases in use. Right then, CryptoKitties was coming out. They had smart contracts. There was this novel idea that you could participate in initial token offering by literally just sending your Ethereum from your wallet to them, and because they can see what wallet it came from, they would send the tokens back to that wallet, sometimes immediately, and that was amazing. That couldn't happen before with Bitcoin. And so it was a fantastic idea, and Ethereum's use case really came into play. So let's look back at what Ethereum did in the last market, and so maybe that gives us some ideas of what to expect. So we're looking back at 2017, and often I forget that my head's in the way for your view, so I'll try to avoid that. All right, so it really started taking off in March. Let's get zoomed in a little bit closer. So nothing is going on here, just a little bit is going on here, March, and then all of a sudden it hits mid-May, and it goes parabolic. Now, because we can see the chart to the right of this, it doesn't seem like it's parabolic, but if we actually do this, we see, oh my gosh, that was parabolic. It was trading around $9 and went to $400. So absolutely parabolic, went 40x in a period of like February to June. Oh my gosh. And then you see some sideways action. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Cardano, which is going parabolic just like this, then sees some sideways action like what we saw here. So it went all the way up here, and then it retraced. If we were going through technical analysis, one of the ways we can look at it is this fib retracement pattern, and it would help us see how much it retraced. So say I put it to there, I realized there's a strong green candle that went up along there, but it didn't close there. And this is just on the daily. So if we look at this, it went up here, and then it retraced not just 50%, it retraced to the 61.8. They call it the Fibonacci retracement number. And so we'll frequently, after such a big run, see some kind of retracement like this. And even wick down below it, but closed the candle here, and then continued upward again to a very similar high that it hit before, and just continued trading sideways on a pattern that looks like this. Then when it broke out of here, right near the end of the pattern, I mean, it could have gone for a ways longer, but keep in mind now it's November of 2017, and there was so much money. Bitcoin had gone absolutely parabolic. It was hitting on its way to 20,000. I think at the time it might have been about 12,000 or so, and it was rising rapidly. And so all of a sudden, Ethereum breaks out of this, and over the next 2 months goes to its high of close to $14,000, which was absolutely incredible. And then it starts its long climb down from there in what we call the crypto winter. Now, there were some fantastic buying opportunities down here, but this is when a lot of people tuned out. I didn't tune out because I didn't know where the bottom would be. I didn't know how to look at things and use charts like this. But I knew that I like to buy when things are on discount. It can be a little bit disheartening though, because I was buying some here. I bought some at $600, only to watch it go down to $400, realizing I could have bought like 50% more, only to have it go down to $200. And so it was my first crypto winter too, and I didn't know just to be patient for, if you look at it from this high, which was January, to the low was actually December of the same year. Now it did come back and hit that low again, but if I had just been patient for at least a year before I started buying, it would have been great. I just didn't know that. So now I know a little bit better for this next crypto winter when I'm going to be patient till if it follows the same pattern. Now, who knows? Some of these use cases, like Cardano's use case, is very strong, and maybe it sees more action. Ethereum, there were some reasons that it pumped up very quickly, and there's some reasons that it also dumped. And we don't exactly know what Cardano's, as it's rolled out, what its implementation will be. So maybe it won't have as much of a retracement or fall off. If you think about it, Ethereum was trading at $1,400 and it reversed all the way to $75. And so it had nearly a 95% retracement. All right, but I hope this is helpful to give you an idea of what Cardano might be doing and might be looking like. So if we go to, now this is versus USD, so let's look at this versus USD. Now at some point, this parabolic move is going to break off and it will probably enter some kind of sideways trading after retracing some, but it will probably start going sideways and it might enter some kind of pattern that looks like this. And it's just as it builds up momentum, it's not that there's anything wrong, everything's right. It just seen a bit an over boom because some people get fear of missing out and they jump in, and then it retraces, and then people get scared and some people hurry up and sell, which further brings the price down, and then at some point it will go up. So just if we draw these retracements, let's look at what that could look like. Okay, so depending on where we start it from, but let's start it from here. And let's say it stops there. Now, it might also retrace 61% to the 61.8. So it might come back down to 40 cents. Now, depends on where this top goes to, right? So if it goes up to $1.40, which, who knows, it could, it might then retrace very quickly and then bounce up from there to the 61.8, maybe even the 78.6, but say it comes to the 61.8, that would be around 58 cents. So one of the reasons I don't chase these large green candles is, like if they continue, then even the retracement level won't, will be above what that's at, but usually they don't continue that long in that short a period of time. When it goes absolutely vertical, it does go up a lot during that time, but then there's a big retracement after. And so I'm usually looking for those retracements, and then I have to watch it carefully because like we saw with Ethereum, they happen very fast. And so we saw this huge climb going way over here, bam, here, and then it did retrace. So over a period of 6 days, no, not even that, 16th of July, 13th of July, or 12th of June to the 13th of July. So that happened over a full month. We'll probably get something like that. Sometimes there's a quick bounce back, but in this case, that was over a month. So something to watch. Like, I love Cardano to pieces. I'm not going to FOMO in more at this price. No way, I'm just looking for that. And if it happens like what happened with Ethereum, we'll probably see a month period where there'll be some good buy-in parts, and we'll know where the top is gone. And it hasn't even come back to its all-time high of before, so I expect it'll do very good. That's where we are. So the all-time high of before was just right around $1.40, and so I expect at some point it will hit that and then come back down, depending on how much momentum it has. Just think it's probably early in the year for it to hit it, but who knows? I didn't expect it to keep going up this much so soon, but I think people are starting to get why Cardano is so amazing, and it's going to solve a lot of the problems with the bottlenecking we're seeing on Ethereum, and especially with all the time that Charles has put into the Ethereum bridge, so that not only can people bridge things over to Cardano, but projects can bridge over to Cardano, which is really what's going to be huge, and I think gives them the edge over Polkadot, even though the founder of Polkadot is a genius too. All right, so looking at this, man, they're already at 30 billion, and they're just barely behind Tether. And then Ethereum and Bitcoin, that's all that's ahead of it. I expect fully by the end of the bull market to be well ahead of Tether. Catching Ethereum, I don't know. Ethereum is probably going to continue to go up. So I would expect by the end of the bull run, it will be well over this price, is my best guess. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just a investor myself, trying to make these decisions for myself. And I'm just sharing with you what I'm seeing. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cardano's market cap actually hits about 3 times what Ethereum is at. But if it does hit that, it probably won't be there for long. That's just kind of the fear of missing out, huge cycle and spike up that we might see near the end of the year, maybe early next year, before it then retraces big. Because it probably will never in the short term be worth that, though probably in the long term easily be worth that. A lot of times we see these kind of price spikes that take things to prices that are unrealistic. So it's okay as an investor, you can make good money on that as long as you're not fear missing out buying in yourself. So this is the overall, I mean, we follow this 4-year pattern that's gone on for forever. This is the Brave New Coin Liquid Index for Bitcoin, and basically it's a summary of Bitcoin's price, but it goes back farther than most things. And so if you see these patterns in 2013, right near the end of it, massive run up right at the end of November, early December, with a peak of Bitcoin. Now, there weren't any altcoins, so there were plenty of altcoins, but most of them were just forks of Bitcoin that were being traded back then. So not any altcoins that have their own real use cases different from Bitcoin at the time. So I really, when I look back that far, I only look at Bitcoin. I don't look at, say, the Bitcoin dominance back here. But I'm just showing you the 4-year cycle. That then the next, in December 2017, mid-December, it absolutely peaked at almost 20,000 after having peaked right here at close to 1,200. So it just under 20x this time. If it just under 20x's, that would be 380,000, 360,000. I expect it might hit close to 400,000, but we'll see. There might be less volatility every time as it goes on. In the past, that's what it's done. It doesn't go up as much as it did the last cycle, so it might only hit 200,000, might hit 300,000, who knows. I tend to think the other cycles didn't have a lot of institutional fear of missing out, and I suspect this time it will, which might drive it higher than and create a super cycle than what we saw last time, but that's just a guess. I don't know that for certain. So that's what we're looking with Bitcoin, and just remember that Bitcoin, funny enough, and altcoins have somewhat of an inverse relationship. Usually when Bitcoin is pumping, and it has been, altcoins aren't pumping. So it's a little bit unusual what we're seeing with Cardano pumping so much. In fact, even its price versus Bitcoin going absolutely crazy, as we also see Bitcoin's price going crazy. So I don't fully know how to interpret this. You don't see it often that an altcoin, such a big one with such a huge market cap, is taking such a huge run, while Bitcoin is also taking such a huge run. If I look at the factors behind it, it has everything to do with Tesla announcing that it had bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and also other companies really eyeing moving into Bitcoin now that basically Elon Musk is buying Bitcoin. And so it kind of gives the green light to some hedge funds and some other CEOs to take some of their cash reserves, put in Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation rather than just holding it, say, in US dollars. And so now that Elon has done it so publicly, I think many more will follow, which will continue to pump Bitcoin. I expect that, most altcoins won't do as well as Bitcoin as it continues to pump for the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But Cardano has been, and actually a few other ones, it has been interesting to watch. It's not usually the case. So you can check out my other videos. I usually go into Bitcoin dominance. I won't this time to pull that out, but Bitcoin dominance is very relevant as you're weighing altcoin prices versus it, because it is really rare that you see like Cardano pumping in Bitcoin terms. Actually, this is the Cardano pumping in Bitcoin terms so hugely while Bitcoin is running up too, which is why versus the US dollar, Cardano has gone from 9.5 cents in November to what, we're 3 months later, to 90 cents. So for such a large market cap coin to go up 10x, that's incredible. It's also unsustainable. So, and what's cool about Charles is when the price wasn't doing well at all, he just kept his head down and kept focusing on the fundamentals. And still, he's continuing to focus on the fundamentals, even though people are starting to get it, and that's why the price is absolutely going crazy. So hope you have some Cardano. Just a caution against FOMOing in. It's so tempting, right? But I've just been there and done that so many times and chased these large green candles. What would happen in 2017 and even in 2018 is I would, something would be going crazy, and so I would sell a token that I had or a coin that I had that wasn't doing very well, and I would roll it into this, only to see then it might go up some for a day or two, and then it would retrace, and that token that I had sold would then have their pump. And that was really frustrating to watch. And so I tend not to make that mistake anymore. Even though I'm human, there's always that temptation to do it. The temptation is much less having learned some painful experiences. I'm not near as tempted, and I rarely do that. But there are some coins that I have bought, even though they've had big pumps. And so far, it's been rewarding, but it's always a risk. I never chase something with a candle this green unless I can look at the fundamentals and still show myself that is completely undervalued. And do I think they're undervalued versus what they'll be later in the year? Yes, I do tend to think that they could go to as much as $21 by the end of this year. So if I'm right, and it's a big if, I don't know, I don't have a crystal ball, that's only 21x from the top of this. But say it does retrace all the way down to, say, 36 cents. Imagine how much better you would be ahead if you were able to get that price, or say it retraces to 50 cents. And so who knows where the top of this would be, but then you just take this little thing here. Hold on. It's called the fib retracement. And you draw it out to where the top ends up being, then it will come back. And often after such a large run, it'll come back to at least the 38.2 or the 50% or the 61.8. Every once in a while, the 78.6. That's a much better buy period. And so that's what I usually look at with coins that I'm interested in. In fact, there are some ones I'm very interested in that have had some parabolic candles, and I'm watching them and looking for good entry points because I want to get into them. I just don't want to chase this large green candle. Hope that's helpful, guys. Thank you, so many of you who subscribe to me and help me with my goal of getting enough subscribers so that I can reach out to the developers and have them come on the channel and speak to me and speak to you, which is really why I started this channel. Just being an investor myself, I was getting frustrated trying to reach out to teams and get them to talk to me. And honestly, if 5,000 investors are reaching out trying to get an hour of their time, it's a hard thing. But they'll reach out to somebody with a YouTube channel that has thousands and thousands of subscribers so they can speak to thousands at once. And so that was really the goal of my channel, was to be able to reach out to them and find out, especially, I really like to know what's going on underneath the surface. Because with Cardano, one of the reasons I've been so interested in it is, even though I couldn't reach out to developers and speak to them myself because they wouldn't return my direct messages and stuff and private messages, is that Charles had his own YouTube channel, and he was so open about what he was doing and what was going on and why there were delays, and so you could hear it from him all the time. Now, most developers in space are not near so open. I can only think of Charles Hoskinson and Alex Mashinsky. Both of them, their projects have done absolutely phenomenally because they've been so open and so accessible to the YouTube community, so that we could watch and see what was going on and understand the fundamentals. That way, when we knew to be patient because there were good things happening underneath the surface, it was easy to be patient because you knew what was going on. But reaching out to developers and knowing what's going on beneath the surface when it seems like nothing's going on with the price action. I mean, look at Cardano's price action back here. Many people had a hard time being patient, and they sold only to have missed out on these big gains. But even look at this. It had this big price run up to here and a big retracement. At least this is versus Bitcoin. What happened was Bitcoin's price took off. So relative to Bitcoin, Cardano decreased. But if we look at the USD, you don't see that big retracement. You really just see it hitting 15 cents, then coming down here to half price at 7.2 or 7.4 cents. Makes sense? Before then taking off. Guys, I hope that all made sense. It all did in my head. Hopefully it came across really well. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all the support. Also, if there's a token that you think is amazing, I need 3 things from you. I need what the ticker symbol is, but also, more importantly, I need what you like about it, why you like it. Don't give me some short thing. I want a longer thing on why you like it. And then also what the market cap is, and I promise I will at least take a look at it. If I really, really like what I'm seeing there, and it might be one that's kind of on my list to do, but if I like what I'm seeing there, I will do a review on it, and I'll talk about it and what I like, and I'll just kind of walk you through how I'm looking at it. And if I absolutely hate it, I might do a review on it, just tell people I hate it. Yeah, I just like to share with you what I'm seeing as I see it and share with you how I break down and analyze it. I know many of you are new, and some of you have been around this longer than me. And some started right about the same time. But some of what I'm sharing is just the lessons I learned in 2017, 2018. They do say, the time to buy is when there's blood on the streets, even if it's your blood. And honestly, I had blood all over in 2018, even 2019. It was very frustrating, but I did learn some very good lessons through all that, so I'm glad I stuck with it. Thanks so much, everyone. We will see you soon.